Your scenario work on a recession, Ed, got a ton of attention in the last couple of days. Can you help me understand what's behind that word recession to you? What is that word? What does it mean? What kind of numbers are you thinking about that get us down to, say, 45 by the end of 23, 65 by year end?
So it really is, on the supply-demand balance, a drag on the demand side. Almost everybody has reduced their expectations of demand for the year. We reduced ours by about 1,200,000 barrels a day. We're at the 2.4, 2.5 million barrel a day level. That's similar to where the EIA and the IEA are, and I expect that we'll be seeing further downward revisions in demand. Demand is simply not growing on an empirical basis to the degree that people had expected. And we've seen that U.S. demand is down. There was a Bloomberg quote yesterday that somebody at Bloomberg saw demand as low as it was in 2014. We think you've got to go back to 2012-13 to see demand at the levels that we're now seeing when it comes to transport fuels like diesel and gasoline. And if the movement is going to be anywhere, it's going to be downward. We're not going to see, there's no evidence that we're going to see this summer surge in driving and summer surge in demand. The price is too high, as it was in 2012-13. And that's a force in looking at global GDP from the perspective of one of the countries that's growing the fastest and has the most robust growth. The demand simply isn't there as people had thought.
But if it's not an outright recession, if it's just growth that slows back toward trend, which is the case of some people out there, Ed, how does that change the demand picture? What are we talking about then if it's not 65?
Well, we're talking about just our base case, and we still have recession at lower than 50%. But we're thinking in our base case that oil is going to go down to 85. And that's looking at it purely on a supply-demand basis, looking at what the headwinds have been and the tailwinds. We've had a lot of tailwinds underlying where oil prices have been. We might have some more. We don't know what the summer weather is going to be. It could be a very volatile period of time. But we're looking at a supply-demand balance that's seeing inventory builds from here to the end of the year. And that's based on a purely empirical analysis of where we see kind of 100%, 95% probability of supply. We don't know what's going to happen to Iranian supply. We don't know what's going to happen to Russian supply. But so far, Russian exports into the market have been higher than people had anticipated and higher what the historical trend was a year ago.